Alright guys, so welcome back. So we're back at it. We're on the Gen 4 3S GTE today, but I was just admiring the Gen 5 3S GTE. And man, I'm telling you that I'm really happy how this thing came out. So, hopefully this Gen 4 will look just as good, because this one, I can tell you, looks great, drives great. Alright, so what do we have? Last week you saw us, we changed that seal on the oil cooler. And, kind of got the water bits put together. So today, we're gonna get the valve cover put on, and this is the final product on the valve cover right here. So after polishing and sanding and polishing and sanding, I kind of gave up. So this is what it's gonna, this is what it's gonna be, right? This is what it's gonna be. This is as good as I could get it. You can still see a couple scratch marks. I mean, I really wish I could get everything with the same consistency as here, but these intricate details is very, very hard to get it to look, as good as I would like it to be. So I'm gonna live with it like this. And I was just kind of looking in this engine bay to kind of see, well, when I put it in, how is this valve cover gonna sit? So honestly, I think it should sit pretty good, because a lot of this stuff is covered up anyways. I know on the Gen 4 you probably see a little bit more, but I think for what this is, where it's at right now, it should look okay. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get the valve cover installed on the engine. And you see I have the valve cover here, I have a timing belt, valve cover gasket seals, I have the fuel hoses, cam seals, crank seal, and we got a dress up kit here. So we got some Allen bolts for the valve cover, that should look pretty nice. A new PCV valve, and that's kind of like where we are today. Now, I'm going to definitely get the valve cover on. I didn't show you guys here, but I have the injectors and the fuel rail, which I want to get mounted as well. And the timing, I don't know if we'll finish the timing today, but we'll try to get the seals in, and then maybe next video do the timing, because I'm not about to rush anything here. I just want to have some fun doing this, and that's really why I do this, right? I just enjoy doing it. So there's no need to rush to get a car running. He's driving already, and I really don't drive it anyways. So with that said, let's just get right over to the engine and start doing this valve cover. Alright, so we have the part numbers for the gasket. So it's a two-part. So here's the one, it's the same as the Gen 5. That's the first part number, that's the second part number. So we're gonna get it installed here, and right here is just everything we need for the valve cover. So we got our PCV, we got our hose, we got the grommet that goes in here, our torque wrench. We're gonna need some seal packing that we're gonna get up to the engine. I'll show you the seal points. And then we have the hardware that's gonna be used to secure it. So let's get right into putting the gasket on. So we're going to start off with the first one here, and then we move on to the next one. This is very, very simple, very easy. You just flip this over, and all of this stuff got sanded, but I used the air compressor. I washed it out just to make sure, there was no, nothing that could get inside the engine, so just be careful with that. You'll see, kind of very self-explanatory how you put this in. You just basically, the groove side goes into this groove right here. You see right here? That little groove just goes in, and you just kind of fit the puzzle together, right? Just as easy as that. Just get this in, and there you go. So we're just gonna slip this in, and then the other part goes in the middle here. So we'll get that in, and then we'll go up to the engine, put some of this pack sealing around the corners right here, and slap this baby on, and we're gonna torque the hardware to 6 foot-pounds, okay? So yeah, so this is as easy as it gets. All right, same thing here. This piece goes in. Just make sure it's in the groove nice and snug, and then we're ready to go to the engine. On top of the engine here, so you want to make sure you use a blade. I use a plastic blade to go through the edges here, just kind of get everything cleaned up. This is obviously clean already, but just to show you. And then these corners, we're going to put some of this seal packing here. And the fact that we're putting it means that when you took off the valve cover, there was some here. So you'll see a whole bunch of packing here sometimes. You gotta make sure you clean it up nicely. So when you put a new one on, it sticks and you get a good seal. So that's kind of like where we are here. And then I normally put some right on this little piece right here. So you'll see me put a little piece here. I don't necessarily think you need to do it, but I do it just for safe measure. So some here, 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 and here. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then we'll get the valve cover placed on and torqued down, and that's it. All right, time for the valve cover to go on. So we have the packing a little bit here in the corners, and we're just gonna set this down and try to get it right the first time so you don't have to move it around. All right, that looks about right. And now you get the hardware in. So the longer ones, there are 3 long ones, and those go in the middle. Should just screw nice and easy in. So if you're having to force it, then it's probably not lined up properly. Alright, so I got that one in nice and easy. This one might be off a little bit. There you go. And we're just gonna get these in and we torque them to 6 foot-pounds. And that's what it looks like on top. It probably looks the same as the last video, although I spent a couple hours today just trying to get this looking better. But it is what it is. This is as good as I was able to get it. But I guess it turned out better than it was before, so I'm still happy for that. Again, you shouldn't have to force these in, so we'll just get all of these in and then we'll come right back and we'll torque it. All right, torquing 6 foot-pounds, so one, it's gonna get all of these under 10 bolts altogether, 3 long ones in the middle, 3 in the front, and 4 in the back. All right, so I think the hardware looks really nice with the polished valve cover. So that's gonna be a win. And I think what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna put the fuel injectors in the back here, and then get the downpipe on, and then we'll kind of see. We're just freestyling it. I know I mentioned we might get the timing, but I don't know, I might leave all of that for one video. So, because I think if you're doing the timing, you probably want to see start to finish, but like I said, we're just freestyling today, so we'll see how this goes. All right, so funny story. So you notice I'm in a different location. So we were filming here and I heard a little thunder outside. And we got the Subaru, which was sitting outside. So we were in the Subaru spot. And you know, if you're a real car guy, you know you don't want to get your nicely clean car wet. Those of you who know me well can know where this story is going. So bottom line, I had to hurry, bring the car back inside, and now we're in a different location working on the engine. So all you car guys, I know some of you don't care, but some of you do, and the ones who do, hey, you know how it is. So right now we got the old PCV valve, we got a new PCV valve, and I mean I got this off Prime. It doesn't look to be the exact same thing, but I guess a PCV valve is a PCV valve. So I guess the story I'm trying to tell here is if you're gonna get a PCV valve, just get the cheapest one you can, maybe on Rock Auto, and save some money. But we'll go ahead and get this in. So we're gonna put the new grommet here. Just basically slips right in here, just like that. And this goes towards the throttle body. And then this, you just basically pop it in. That's nice and easy. And there you go. New PCV valve in place. All right. Now, right now I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. I think we're gonna go ahead and let's head over to here. We are going to do or injectors. So I got the fuel rail painted, got the injectors which were flow tested and cleaned. So I think we'll go ahead and put the injectors in right now, and then we'll figure out what we do next. Right now, moving on to the injectors. So I learned a little trick by watching YouTube, and it says silicone. For anything with an O-ring, just spray down some silicone. Helps to get it in the proper way where you hear that click whenever you seat an O-ring. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that here. Should work. I actually tried it on something else and it worked really good. So I'm bringing something I learned new to the channel. So silicone on these new O-ring seals, and shouldn't damage anything, so you're good to go. So here we have our rail. I had it painted. These 3 ports are where it's gonna get mounted. And then your injectors, you gotta put it where they're up like this when you plug them in. So these are the ports, so we're just basically gonna slip them in. And there, the silicone really helps just so you to get it in nice and snug. Normally you hear a little click, but there's no groove in here as you can see, so they're really just gonna go in and seal like that. Simple stuff. And then we're gonna go over to the rail, or over to the engine. So I did spray these with some silicone as well, so we should get everything nice in. And the whole idea is just to line them up here. You really want to try to get the injectors in and seated before you start bolting this thing down. And you just push them in, and you can thread your bolts in. And if you notice, your regulator should be on the right side of the engine. Yeah, the injectors are very easy to change, especially when they're outside the engine. I mean, like as you saw, you just basically slip them out, pop them in, pop them out, and this is 14 foot-pounds that I'm torquing these to. And once you're done, that's pretty much it. So I'm still waiting on the wire harness. So after all of this is finished, then still gotta wait some more for the harness. And I'm really just enjoying the build, to be honest with you. I'm in no rush to swap the car. I mean, obviously I have 2 MR2s, one is already swapped, so it's not like, you know, before I really wanted to get it done to kind of just experience the 3S GTE, but yep, so there you go. All right, so injectors are in. I have the hoses, so I have the return here that goes here, and the feed lines, but I'm not gonna put them on yet because I want to get the intake manifold on first. So what are we gonna do next? I think we're either gonna do the downpipe or we're gonna start changing the seals on the timing. So let's see what comes next. Next up we have our nice downpipe, good old faithful TCS downpipe. So that's gonna go on next. And you know, I'm reusing the original gasket. Some people buy new ones. I think this is gonna be fine. I hope it's fine because these are not fun to take off when you're in the car, but I'm gonna work with what I had before. I did put some anti-seize on the studs here. So if I have to take it off, it's not too hard. And very, again, simple. Just line the studs up and slip her in. And one thing I know is you always want to catch this stud first because it's a little bit tricky. If you put the other ones in first, this one is kind of hard to get in. So you kind of have to ease the downpipe out. Put the bolt on here and just kind of work the downpipe in at the same time you're working the nut in. Otherwise, you're gonna fight all day long just trying to get this thing in. So don't put the rest of the bolts on first. Put this one on first, and then the rest will be pretty easy to go in. You won't even be able to get a socket for the most part to tighten this one down because that's just the design. It's even hitting on the welds here, so you know this one is super tight. I'm gonna see, I might need to get a smaller bolt or kind of grind the edge of this bolt, the flange down, because this is very tight. But let me use a wrench and see if I can run it down and if it will actually work, because right now it is not. If you can see that, the flange is actually rubbing up on the weld, so we'll have to see how that goes. But let me get my wrench, see if it will go in, then we just proceed. I ended up putting a little washer right here because the flange on this bolt was just getting up in the wells. Now I could grind down the wells, but the washer worked fine, so I just put the washer there, spaced it enough. And this bolt, you gotta tighten it with a wrench. There's no way to get a torque wrench in there, as you can see, because you can't get a socket on that. So I don't know, maybe this design TCS could probably do a little something different here, like an indent here or something, so you can get a wrench in there. But you know, I tightened it up. The rest are pretty tight. I'm gonna torque them now to 47 foot-pounds, and we should be okay. So I'm just gonna finish torquing up, and you know, hopefully it doesn't come apart, but that's what we're working with. So here goes. 47, 47. 47, and I need my extension for this one. And then you put your O2 sensor in here. I had to get a new one because I didn't get a downpipe with this engine, so I purchased a O2 sensor, and those you can get them from Prime MR2. Alright. And we got one, so it's 6 bolts together, 4 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Alright, so downpipe is on. Now I'm gonna get my shiny heat shield and just kind of get a glimpse of what this looks like. There's that nice heat shield on. Again, just like the valve cover, that's as good as I could have gotten it. So that's it's looking good. I think, you know, I think once you put it inside the car, it's gonna look a lot better with all the pipes and everything. I don't believe we had done the water neck on the last video, but I got this installed as well. Again, this was a modified piece from TCS. So you send out your original water neck, they'll add this part here, so you can fill the coolant from here. And then I went ahead and changed all these hoses as well. So there you go, everything was replaced. This I got, it's a Napa part, Napa 7378, this hose right here. I mean, it's just pretty much like a 60-degree bend, but if you're trying to take the guesswork out of it, Napa 7378. And then this is regular 3/8 hose that you can just buy and hook it up, okay? So here's the heat shield. Now here is the O2 sensor. That's a part number, and it's made by Denso. And this is for a Gen 4, because they're all different. I think Gen 4s and Gen 5 are the same, but you know, you don't know until you don't know. So because I didn't get a downpipe, I didn't get an O2 sensor, so I had to purchase this. So if you can source this, there you go. That's your O2 sensor. And we're gonna go ahead and throw this in. And I think that's gonna be a wrap for today, because you know, I was gonna go pull the seals out, but I figured, you know, for the guys who are interested in a timing job, they probably want to see everything A to Z. So I'm probably just gonna save that for one whole video when we do the entire timing system. So that will be next week, hopefully, if we don't do something else, because I got some stuff I gotta do on the car. So this one, let's put it in, we'll tighten it up, and you know, that's a wrap for today. So we got our valve cover finally buttoned up, got our downpipe on, we got our fuel injectors in, and we're making some progress on this engine. So last video, I just gotta say, didn't get a lot of views, but I got a lot of comments. So I really enjoyed the interaction for all you folks who sent a comment. That was really nice to see and interact with everybody. And on some of the other older videos, I'm getting a lot of people who are doing work on their cars and are asking questions. So just want everybody to know I welcome the feedback and I'm happy to assist. So send your comments, send your messages, send your questions. We surely do appreciate that. And you know, if you can, tell your friends about the channel. I mean, we're 600 subscribers. You know, YouTube is a funny place. I see some guys, they do less videos and have tons of subscribers, but who knows? I don't know what the trick is. If you know what it is to get more subscriptions, let me know. I think the content is okay. You know, let me get some feedback. And for everybody else in Father's Day land, happy Father's Day. Today is Father's Day. So wish you guys happy Father's Day. Hopefully you're having fun with your children and enjoying that and maybe, you know, enjoying it with the cars. So with that said, guys, see you on the next one and have a great weekend.